What up, 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 America? What's good with you out there? It's your boy Rod and Don, Brooklyn Bears and Ball Sports Show. We back. It's another episode. We about to talk some more football. We got some good games going on. You see my man Don. He's excited. His Niners are on a one-game winning streak right now. You know, they looking like they about to get back on track, but it's all right. It's all right, America. You know, shout out to the Niner Nation. Y'all made a little noise last week, but you know, still a lot of football left. We got some stuff we're going to talk about. What are we in? Week 11, D, I think it is.
Week 11.
Week 11. That's what's up, man. Listen, so we got some stuff to talk about. We got some culture stuff we want to talk about too, guys. You know how we do. We like to talk about everything, not only sports, but beyond sports, what's going on in the culture and different things like that and its impacts there. So listen, before we jump into it, we need you to do us a favor. We need you to like. We need you to share. We need you to comment. We need to do all the things that help the algorithm get pushed, guys, all right? So listen, shout out to the Facebook crew. Y'all been holding us down. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. YouTube, also, listen, hit that like button, not the hearts and the emojis and all that stuff, but there's a like button right there. You hit that like button, hit that notification bell. Every time Brooklyn Bears and Ball Sports Show go live, you will know about it. You'll see it from the reels to the shows and all the stuff that we got to talk about. So listen, my man Dom, what's good with you, bro?
Oh, man, good show. I'm looking forward to, once again, dissecting these games. And, yeah, we're on a one-game winning streak, but, it begins with one, right? You got to start. You got to start somewhere, right?
Facts.
So, without further ado, let's get into it.
Let's go.
Week 11, yeah, we got some interesting games to discuss. Let's first start off with the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco 49ers are playing Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think ultimately it should be a good game. And what I mean by a good game is a good game for the 49ers. I do have this is the time of year where we need to stay focused. We're pretty healthy. That's of a benefit. And I think that we should maximize teams that really, we have a kind of a challenging schedule moving forward. We have, not Cincinnati, excuse me. We have Seattle, Eagles, Seattle again. And so that back and forth and traveling might be a little bit challenging, but I think we'll come out on top ultimately. So this game with Tampa Bay, I think we need to ultimately handle our business quickly. We have grown really accustomed to sitting our starters in the fourth quarter. That's what we do. We did it against Dallas. We did it last week. We've done it a lot. Actually, CMC and Ayuk and Debo, all of them, Kittle, everyone gets an opportunity to just sit back and actually enjoy the game, enjoy the last quarter of the game more often than not. So with that said, I think Baker Mayfield, I think he's going to be under pressure. Their receiving core is so-so, not great. You got Mike Evans, you got Godwin, you got Rachaad White as their running back, which I do have on my fantasy team. But he's not he gets all of the work, but he's not a great running back in the sense of you hand the ball off to him 20 times. He's more an extension of the running game. They do dump off passes. He's pretty good that way. He's pretty efficient. He gets a lot of targets. But I think the 49ers should handle business. I think I would guesstimate that we're going to have at least 2 turnovers. We'll probably have anywhere from 2 to 4 sacks. I just think that our defense is going to be there's going to be so much pressure on Baker Mayfield that he's not going to have the opportunity to get the ball out in a timely manner. What do you say?
No, I say, look, the Bucs are the Bucs. Then, the Niners should win this game. No question about it, and particularly since they're playing home and obviously looking formidable last week and now, coming back home and being able to see them play the Bucs. The Bucs are not a great team, but believe it or not, Baker Mayfield is not actually having a bad season, okay? He's actually completing 64% of his passes. He's got over 21 passing yards, 14 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So he hasn't really turned the ball over much. Now, third down conversions is where this team struggles. Getting into the red zone is where this team struggles. And they're like almost dead last in the run. They couldn't run when they had Brady. They can't run this year either. So like to your point, using the screens and different things to kind of supplement and complement the running game to some degree is the only way they can kind of get some type of momentum from a short yardage perspective, at least initiating the play from that, and then hoping that the guys can get out there and block on the screens and get guys into space. But at the end of the day, and Evans had a big game last year. He had 6 catches, 143 yards against Tennessee, which obviously now with their rookie quarterback, and people are kind of excited about that. But they did get a win, and I think the Bucs. I would just say to you, D, be careful. Like I wouldn't. Y'all should win this game. You'll beat them, no question about it. I think it's more or less like. I think it's more or less how they will win. But again, the Niners, I think your guard is out. I don't know how significant he is to your offensive line that's going to be out there. But other than that, I think, look, again, Trent is back. Debo is back. The CMC is going to be CMC. And again, guys are looking good. Purdy seems to have gotten on track. And you got Sideline Steve, right? So Sideline Steve is back in the building. He's on the sidelines now. And obviously, that's where he'll remain, I'm sure, for the remainder of the season. So, I like the Niners in this game. They should win this game. This is not a game that, I don't foresee the Bucs winning. But I think the pressure is on you guys a little bit, only in this sense. Again, how do you win? If y'all struggle a little bit against this team, and it's not because, again, you set the standard high, right? You have blown everybody out in the first 5 weeks. Then all of a sudden, you got the 3-week skid. And then you come back after the bye and you kind of look back to your old ways because you got key people back. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't struggle against this team. It's almost like with Dallas too in the Carolina game, right? Everybody's expecting us to blow them out. If we win the game, look, if both teams win, it's a win. Either way, we'll take it. But I think a lot is said when you talk about Super Bowl contenders, particularly the 49ers, against the Bucs team, which is a lot better than Carolina, by the way. But at the end of the day, I still like them, but you just don't want to see them struggle. They should. I'm not saying they got to beat. They got to put up 70 points on them like Miami did to Denver, but they should pretty much win this game handily.
Well, I mean, the spread is 12 points. So what are odds makers telling you? Like, I love the fact that,
and that's my point. Because if y'all struggle, then
struggle
only shows that's the expectations are high. So you
no. That's not why you're saying that. That's the odds makers are saying that we should blow them out. Why? Right. What gave you? Where do you get out of between the spread, between the head-to-head between our two teams, the way we played last week, the way we played prior to losing 3 games, that we would struggle against a team like this is the problem that I have with you in particular. You love saying and creating instances where, but if you guys struggle, you're trying. I don't know why you have to create this type of. It's a false narrative that But I do have to take into consideration you're the same person that says that it was a close sweep with the Lakers, that you look at it from a different viewpoint, right? So if we win, and our focus as our team's focus, right? And as a fan, my focus is just to win the game. Now,
yeah, America, y'all don't believe that.
No.
You don't even believe that.
I've said that. I have said that all season long. So if this game
goes into overtime,
this is not college. This is not college. I don't care about running up points. We want a W and we want to get out healthy. I've been consistent with that. I don't care about
to do that, but you mean to tell me if your team goes into overtime against Tampa Bay and y'all eke out or leak out or squeak out a win against Tampa Bay, a team that y'all are a 12-point favorite over, that wouldn't concern you a little bit? That you don't think that there will be a little bit of concern as to why you struggle? Look, I get the any given Sunday theory, which is actually not even theory, it's true, right? We've seen good teams lose a bad team on any given Sunday. But you don't think that there would be a little bit of concern, particularly how you play?
I'm giving for an example, just in case the viewers
you're right.
Didn't know bad team being
a
good team.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
Arizona was like a 13-point underdog and they beat you guys. You're right.
It what happened in Minnesota, same thing. Yeah, it can happen.
They weren't 13-point underdogs, but
no, they weren't. But I mean,
it can happen. I think it was more like 7. It was a touchdown, but it can happen the likelihood, the probability of it happening is a whole nother story, right? So ultimately, we don't look past anybody. It's one game at a time. We're not taking anyone for granted. Right. But I do think we got a shot in the arm coming off the bye, right? Yeah. And I don't think that momentum has died down. There is some bad blood or some issues that were had in college between Baker and Bosa. So there is a history with them. So I think that they're going to be excited to get after him. Him and Chase Young are really going to try to get after him. And of course, it's like this. You know that other teams are watching, especially contenders or teams that are looking to go deep in the playoffs. So I think that it is important for us to win, but I do think that there will be some emphasis on trying to make a statement defensively. And I think from a standpoint, you can throw on Tampa Bay, right? Yeah. Their corners are questionable. So with Debo, with Ayuk, with Kittle, I think the goal for us is to get up early, right? Mm-hmm. And then definitely get up early, put pressure on Baker that where they have to throw, and then sit out the fourth quarter because we have such a big lead. That would be a perfect Niner victory. That, you know what, we're up by 2 touchdowns, maybe 3 in the fourth quarter, and then we can start, slowly but surely ushering in some, second and third strings to kind of finish the game off. Let the starters kind of rest through the game or towards the end of the game.
I mean, okay, I agree. I mean, it's a little cocky to always feel like every game, or at least for the lesser opponent, you're gonna just blow everybody out and rest your starters in the fourth quarter.
No, but the game is
audacious. You know what I'm saying? But
it's not 12 points. 12 points, and
I think 12 points is not a lot of points.
That's where you're mistaken. That's where you're mistaken.
It's really not.
Double digits in football is a close to 2 touchdowns is a statement. You're making a statement victory. I don't think. I don't think what is a lot of points? What is a lot of points to you?
At least 4 possessions. I think you guys.
You're only saying that because you lost by 5 possessions. That is the only reason you're saying that. I've always felt
that way. I really did. Even in basketball, I promise you. At least
by 32 points. At least by 33. It's not a blowout.
Then it's a blowout. If you beat a team 21-7, and I know we go through this all the time, but I'm saying if you beat a team 21-7, right? Say if y'all beat the Buccaneers 21-7, right? And say you score that, it was 14-7 in the middle of the fourth quarter. That's a tight game. And then finally y'all scored another touchdown to create some separation, but it was late in the game. Up until that point, it was a good game. I think it's more about.
But you're looking at it that way. How about the fact that for 4 quarters you only scored 7 points? You got to look at it for both ways,
right? But I'm saying, if you held a team down to 7 points like the Buccaneers, that's expected of you guys. But if you're not scoring, remember when they talk about spread, they're talking about the team that's going to score more points than the other team. It's not that spread is not based on defense. It's based on how many points someone's going to score more than the other team.
Well, it's not necessarily scoring. It's not. But how about this? If let's say that the spread is 12 points, right? And let's just say Moody, right, kicks 5 field goals. We don't score a touchdown, right?
Right.
In the unlikelihood of that happens, we kick 5 field goals, right?
Right.
And so that's 15 points, right?
Right.
And we win 15 zip. The fact is, we covered the spread of 12, right? So that means that a team is still dominating. When you give a team, and we disagree on this.
According to the spread, but as far as the natural proclivity to see sports, right? We're looking at the game. If your team, let's just say that scenario actually materializes, right? And you only kick 5 field goals. No, and it won't. I don't believe it will. But I'm saying if that happens, you cannot tell me, all right, yes, y'all cover the spread. Yes, Vegas says y'all are 12 points better. You cover the spread. From that perspective, and in the world of Vegas, yes, I get it. Somebody's getting paid. Somebody's made a lot of money, and that's all that matters, right?
And we shut them out. That would be the other thing.
And you shut them out.
To your point, it's not who scores the most points, right? So
Right.
it's both ends of the spectrum. It's creating that separation by hook or crook, whether it's through defense, right? Or offense, or a combination thereof.
But let me ask you a question. You as a fan, right? Aside from the spread, you kick 5 field goals and beat this team on Sunday 15-0. How would you feel about that?
Not great about it. I wouldn't feel great that we weren't able.
That's my point. That's all I'm bringing up. The 49ers fans should not feel
But I would
good
feel
if you-
I would feel good about the victory. I would feel good about
course you should.
our record becoming better.
Another W.
Momentum. It's another because every game you sometimes have to. I mean, it's a cliche, but it has validity to it. You have to take what the defense gives you, right? I wouldn't be thrilled about a 5 field goal game if that's
Right.
all we could score, right?
Right.
Because I would think that between the skill players and the offensive mind of our coach, we should be able to manufacture a way to get in the end zone several times. This
Correct.
is not the toughest defense,
Correct.
in the NFL. So
Exactly.
that I wouldn't be thrilled about it, but I would also understand that the most important thing is, for me, a victory and getting out healthy. That is the most important thing to me as a fan of the 49ers, that we win and we continue. And
But your
we're healthy.
expectations are still there that you will dominate this team. You will score touchdowns, right? In
Correct.
addition to maybe some field goals sprinkled in between. And then that's the expectation because y'all are a better team. And so that's the only point I'm bringing out is the expectation. If Dallas wins this game against Carolina 15-0, using the same scenario, there's a lot of talk going on in Dallas. Okay, it's not a good look. Like there's no way you should have struggled like that. There's gonna be a whole lot of reevaluating and seeing what happened, guys. Why were we not able to score more points against a
I don't
team?
think I will just say this before we get to a score. For the 49ers, I do think Dak is not great against man.
No, he's
not
great.
good. He's not good.
And
He's not great against zone.
too. He's
No,
good
he's
against
not.
zone too.
No, he is not.
I'm sorry, Deke Donald.
Statistically, he is much better with man. Carolina is one of the teams that plays the most zone. So he is going. There is.
You'll see.
I'm
on
not
Sunday.
suggesting that you guys are going to have a problem with Carolina.
Right.
But if I get a text from Frank Green that says "told you so," and you guys lose to Bryce
He just
Bryce
texted-
Young,
No, not
don't
not-
lose to Bryce.
No,
I
you're
told
right.
you.
And
I told you
well,
last
listen,
week. My
listen.
son is taller and stronger than Bryce Young today
Yes,
at
he is.
11.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you better not lose to him. You
No, we
better not
We better
lose to him.
All right, listen.
And it shouldn't even be close. And I'll say this: the distance between the Cowboys and Carolina should be greater than the distance between Tampa Bay and the 49ers,
I agree
just
with
based on skill level.
No, I agree. I totally agree with that. Yeah.
And I want to just address one thing that Nick Wright said.
What he
The
said.
foolish statement that Nick Wright said.
What
He said if you switched Tampa Bay, if you switched quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield was on the 49ers and Brock Purdy was on Tampa Bay, we would be undefeated and we would be a lock for the Super Bowl. That is a ridiculous statement. Let's not forget,
It is.
Baker Mayfield, he looks good in pockets of games, right? He'll make a play here and there, but he is not. He's on his 15. I mean, if he was a franchise quarterback, he would still be with Cleveland, right? He wouldn't have bounced all around and been on how many teams? This is what, his third or fourth team?
This is it's like his third. His third team. I want to say. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was with the Rams. He's with the Bucks. Cleveland.
Yeah, the Rams. I forgot
And-
about the Rams. Yeah. It's his fourth
And
team.
was there another team? Fourth team,
No,
right?
fourth team. Yeah.
3 teams.
3 teams.
Okay.
The Rams, the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
We got the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why it seemed like there's another team in there.
I think there was, but I can't. It's at
Okay.
least 3 teams. But that lets
Okay.
you know he's not a franchise quarterback.
No,
He's
not.
a stopgap at
It
best.
looked like he was going to be one though, because he did lead the Browns to the playoffs. So it did look like he was going to be that. But
But that was more a product of the defense and the run game, more than him.
right.
So with that being said,
go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Is he better than Dak Prescott?
Baker Mayfield? Oh no way, not at all. He's not better than. And I'm gonna tell you why Nick Wright's statement. Yeah, you're right. It's a ludicrous.
He's a hater. Nick Wright is saying he says that stuff to troll. Yeah. I mean, he wants to troll Chris Broussard a lot because Chris Broussard likes the 49ers. He likes Brock Purdy, so he does that to troll. But I mean, within reason, right? If Baker Mayfield was head and shoulders better than Brock Purdy or any other quarterback, he wouldn't be. I mean, right now he's borderlining journeyman quarterback, right? Because unless the Buccaneers,
are not going to keep him. I mean, he's not their future, so they'll trade him too at some point, right? But I want to say,
or he'll be a backup.
Right, but I want to say this though. But I think maybe, and I didn't see the whole segment of what Nick was saying in terms of whatever he said to put it in proper context. But just listening to what you said, he said, you got to think about this a little bit, right? Now, I think if you talk about natural ability, I do think Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback than Brock Purdy, right? I mean, you talk about a number 1 draft pick and the last guy in the draft. There's
Carolina too. That's 14.
Carolina, yeah, that's the 14.
And he got beat out by Sam Darnold. Yeah. He is not better than Brock Purdy. I can't. No, I'll let you finish your statement.
But no. I mean, right. As we look at them now, based on what they've accomplished, right? No, he's not better than Baker, but he is a better quarterback than Baker's a better quarterback than Purdy. Purdy has no arm, and Purdy is a guy. He's a good quarterback. And if you think about Shanahan and his systems, you think about the quarterbacks, right? Again, it seems as if the type of good quarterbacks that you would see in the league, I don't know if Shanahan even maybe would want that kind of quarterback, right? Because the truth is that it seems like the quarterback between Garoppolo and Purdy, and it probably would have been that way with Lance as well, depending upon whatever would have happened to him prior to him getting hurt, or if he didn't get hurt, rather. It's a system where Shanahan relies on what he creates, what he innovates, what he does with the other skilled players. A quarterback like Baker Mayfield with a very strong arm, a guy who can maneuver.
He improvises too much where it wouldn't work.
No, he does. He's kind of Brett Favre-ish and that kind of thing, right? Like, in other words, right, we could say a lot of good things about there's some quarterbacks that are a better quarterback, right? Like, at the end of the day, like Josh Allen, or you look at who has a really good arm, right? But he's not a better quarterback than Joe Burrow, or he's not a better. Some probably would even say he's not even better than Justin Herbert, right? Because of the mistakes that he makes. But overall, from just a natural ability as a quarterback, he is better. I think Baker Mayfield naturally is a better quarterback than Purdy, but Purdy fits the system for what Shanahan does. So that's why I don't agree with Nick. I don't think Nick is right in that, because I don't think a guy like Baker Mayfield would ever fit in the system that Shanahan had. He likes those kind of quarterbacks like Garoppolo, and I think this is the issue that hurts him. And this is why I say, D, y'all making the Super Bowl and winning a Super Bowl, can you win with quarterbacks that really can't take you over the top? If you got to rely on defense and Debo and CMC, is that enough to win a Super Bowl? Can you win a Super Bowl with those guys with a very moderate to good quarterback? Or at some point, you're going to need your quarterback to take you over the top. And that's not what Shanahan has ever had. Garoppolo was the issue. He was the difference maker in terms of y'all not getting over the top. And because y'all had everything else but the quarterback. So I don't know. That's the thing we're looking to see.
So these are the fundamental differences between Jimmy G and Brock Purdy. Although Brock Purdy had that 3-game skid, right? Lest we forget that he has less interceptions than Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Tua, all of the top quarterbacks that you want.
Less quarterbacks to all those guys.
Dak Prescott. He has less interceptions. So the problem with Jimmy G was this. He, in the most inopportune time, he would throw an interception that would cause you, or in momentum, because when you think about when we lost in the Super Bowl with Kansas City,
Yeah.
There were two distinct plays. There were some turnovers. There was the fact that he missed a wide open receiver going straight down the middle. And so I don't see that with Brock Purdy. He's more careful with the ball. And Kyle Shanahan's offense is a precision offense. And when you have accuracy, and I think Brock Purdy's accurate, I think he doesn't need, because we have skilled players, because we have an innovative coach, you don't need someone that can stand flat-footed and throw it 70 yards. That is a lack of development of your other players, because Josh Allen has a rocket, right? But I would take Brock Purdy over Josh Allen, because now if you put Josh Allen in our system, he wouldn't have to run as much apples and oranges, right? But again, overall, his skill set, his ability, I'll give you an example. It's too much. I think Kyle wants a person that is going to operate within his system, to your point. And Brock Purdy does that. Right. And I think that he's accurate. You don't need a big arm. You don't need an arm where you can throw 50, 60 yards. If you're working within your system, your receivers, your tight end, your running back will do the work. They will do the work. You will throw them open. You will get them to a point where they are schemed open. They are utilized to their fullest potential. And then, of course, they flourish. And that's the offense that we run.
No, you're right. I mean, it's yet to be seen whether or not, if you guys have to rely on Purdy to win you a Super Bowl. And what I mean by that, from the playoffs up into the Super Bowl, right? That's where it's really going to count, because what happens when schematically things go awry or it's not as effective, because, schemes can be overwhelmed or overtaken by another scheme, right? So when you talk about schematics, scheme for scheme, you can scheme someone out of their scheme as well. So at some point, when you look at great quarterbacks, you look at teams that win, teams that have been successful, the difference maker would be in the quarterback. Why do we look at teams like the Buccaneers when they won with Brad Johnson? That team never became a dynasty because they didn't have the quarterback. When you look at the Ravens, they had, Trent Dilfer. No, never going to be a what do you call it? A dynasty or a team that was going to win multiple Super Bowls, because they just don't have the quarterback that was going to be able to win them a game. Like if the way this system is built right here with the 49ers, you don't have a dynasty until we know Purdy can actually.
But see, win. Now you're moving the goalpost.
I'm not moving the goalpost.
Right? We're not talking about dynasty. We're talking about February. Right. Las Vegas, confetti falling on us.
We don't know if that doesn't happen, right? Shanahan is back in the same place again. In other words, if y'all don't win a Super Bowl and you don't lose and you don't win a Super Bowl because of the fact that Purdy was not much like what Garoppolo was. Yes, and let's just be honest. I'm not saying that nobody was completely blinded by Garoppolo and his deficiencies, but at the end of the day, people still probably felt, and I mean, I'm just using conjecture, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Basically, Purdy's not going to win or lose you the game. Right, and that's what I'm trying to say. But at some point, and here's the thing, Brown, you might need him to try to win you a game. And can he do that? Because somebody thought that Garoppolo at some point was going to be able to win the 49ers a game. And he didn't. He, like you say, the Super Bowl, the championship game against the Rams, there was key plays, and he just couldn't get you guys.
So let me ask you a question. And then we're gonna move on. Let me ask you this question.
Okay.
Peyton Manning, when he was with the Broncos, right? Did he win the game, or did the defense win the Super Bowl? I'm not comparing them. I'm comparing Peyton Manning in that Super Bowl with the Broncos. Don't tell me body of work. Tell me how he played. What did he do in that Super Bowl?
He did nothing. The defense won that. But here's where you can't avoid the comparison. Even though Manning was at the end of his career, had a noodle arm by that time, right? But he was still there was a difference.
You gonna tell me he was cerebral and he was thinking play? Get out of here! No, you still have to get the ball.
No, right, but I'm saying, but he was depending on Yak.
He was depending on yak yards. That's what he was depending on.
D, I get you, but I mean, but you're talking about still, and not that we know Manny didn't have a great year that year. He did play well enough, and yes, he had the noodle arm, like I said, but there's still a difference between a game manager type player like Peyton Manning at that point in his career.
He was just game managing. I'm saying overall in that Super Bowl. So the reason why I brought him up is you're talking about playing in the Super Bowl or playing in the playoffs to get to the Super Bowl. And I'm trying to explain to you that a combination of now, what you can do in certain situations is take certain players away. Other teams will scheme to take your best player away. Well, I challenge anybody to pick their poison. Okay, you want to crowd the box and take CMC away? Be my guest. Good luck with that. Right? Try to take CMC away. See what Debo does. See what Brandon Ayuk does. See what Kittle does. Oh, you want to take Debo away?
I agree with that. I agree with that.
So
I agree with
the
that.
combination of a vast amount of weapons and the fact that we have a very stout defense, I think that is a combination that the pressure. You're saying that because you don't have both. You don't have both.
Debo was out 3 games, right? 3 games, or maybe 2.5 because he got hurt. I think he got hurt in the Cleveland game, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
And he didn't come out. So just assume that Debo's taken out of the game schematically, right? Because he clearly didn't even play. So he's not even there on the field. And you guys didn't look well. Like, you still had other weapons. You had Kittle, you had Ayuk, but those guys couldn't do anything. And the ball was put in Purdy's hands to make a play.
But you're missing the point that Trent Williams was a bigger loss. He was the biggest loss. Protecting a quarterback to give them time to plays to develop.
Purdy didn't play well in that game only because of the fact that he didn't have protection from his left side. I mean, yes, overall, Williams with blocking schemes, run, everything, yes, he plays a big role in that. But that still had nothing to do with Purdy still not being able to make the throw, be able to still take his team over the top. Like, in other words, my question to you is, do you feel you can win a Super Bowl without ever having to see Purdy win you a game in the playoffs and beyond? Do you think that can happen?
This is not golf. This is not tennis. This is not badminton. This is a team sport. So do I think the 49ers with Brock Purdy
you don't think Purdy would never be in that situation?
He may never be. He may never be.
Because you remember, your defense can still. You was healthy on defense for all intents and purposes, okay? You had 1 game without Greenlaw, but Greenlaw was back, and y'all still lost some games. What I'm saying is that backside is still your Achilles heel to your defense. If teams are scoring on y'all and y'all got to match points, Purdy's got to put the ball in the air at some point. He's going to have to air it out, which I'm not saying he can't do.
So do you think Kyle Shanahan's offense has he just been spoon feeding him, or he given him a very small part of the playbook, or do you think that the playbook is all the way open?
I think the playbook is all the way open, but if schematically your team is not performing at the optimal level, then you're going to need some playmakers in your court. You're going to need your quarterback. You're going to need to show. That's when skill has to now just rise up above everything else. It's going to be man against man, my guy against your guy. My quarterback has got to be good. In this moment, my quarterback has got to, in this moment, he didn't have to be great all the time. He doesn't have to be, Terry Bradshaw or Roger Staubach or Steve Young or whomever. But at some points in the game, can Purdy be able to rise up and be able to make throws and lead his team to victory in that sense? That's all I'm saying.
Yes, he has already. He has. He
in
will,
the playoffs,
in the
I'm saying. Do you think that'll happen when the chips on? I'm not talking about against the Buccaneers on Sunday.
Yeah, okay? You're right. What did he do in the playoffs? What did he do in the playoffs last year?
Actually, he played well.
Why is there silence?
Well, I don't. He didn't play.
What's going on with the internet? Is the internet down? What happened in the playoffs?
Hold on. Let me just look at these stats real quick. Okay, let me just look at this real quick because I'm just trying to understand.
I'm wondering if he has more playoff victories than Dak Prescott.
Dak has 2 playoff victories.
Okay, and he had 2 last year. Purdy had 2 last year already. So
Yeah, he did.
I'm just wondering.
He did.
I'm still trying to figure this out.
I'm just trying to see here. Let me see. Purdy against. Let me see. Third quarter, 1970. Purdy completed. He completed 19 to 29 passes for 214 yards against Dallas. That's what he did against Dallas. Wasn't great. He had. Let me see. I'm trying to see here. I don't think he did. He throw a touchdown in that game? I don't think he did. Did he score a touchdown against us? I don't think he did. Let me see. See, this thing here is not showing. Show me his overall playoff record.
Yeah, now it's
showing me his overall playoff record.
All overall.
I'm
that
seeing
means
3 games.
Yeah.
No, he didn't score. No, I didn't know he didn't throw a touchdown.
He didn't throw a touchdown against you guys.
I don't believe he did. No. Let me see. I gotta find this. All right, let's go to the score.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's move on,
and I'll come back.
So,
I'll come back. Yeah.
Over under is 41.5. San Francisco minus 12. I like the 49ers obviously to win. What's up? What's up, Scrap? What's up?
Scrap's in the building?
Yeah. Let me guess. Y'all dominated in defeat. Right, exactly. You already know. He dominate in defeat. I don't know where you came in on the show, but he is trying to undercut and undermine Brock Purdy. And it's you can win, but it's how you win. And then he wants to make it, will you be a dynasty? We are trying to get to the Super Bowl and win this year. We'll handle dynasty when we get to it. We're trying to win this year, and we're trying to maximize Brock Purdy and that low salary that he's making. We're trying to fully maximize that. But in any case, I have 49ers 35-14.
Yeah, I got Niners. I got Niners. Yeah, he had no touchdowns in that game. No touchdowns in that game. So, yeah, nothing. Yeah. Okay, 19-29 for 214 yards.
He didn't have any turnovers?
Numbers. Trash.
Did he have turnovers?
No turnovers.
So can you just, in comparison, can you give me the numbers of the $40 million quarterback that was across the field that you said at some point you got to look across?
He had 2 bad turnovers. Dak did have 2 bad turnovers. No, but I'm saying, but we're talking about only thing. Listen,
no. You said to me, you said this. At some point, Brock Purdy is going to it becomes mano y mano, man against man, man against machine. You're gonna have to, and you're gonna have to look across that field, and someone's gonna have to be a better quarterback.
No, you're right. And honestly speaking, Dak has not done that. No, Dak has not. I agree. When we needed him to really be at his best, he did not. So, and I know that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still hoping Dallas can somehow prevail beyond that. You know what I'm saying? There's games that Dak will win, but we need Dak to win in the playoffs. We need him to be the best should things schematically break down. My question again to you, can Purdy be that quarterback to be able to win you a game in the playoffs when the ball, when everything is on his shoulders in a moment? I'm not saying through the whole game. I'm not saying you got to win the whole game, but in the moment or for a quarter, particularly in the second half.
In the Cowboys game. He did it in the Cowboys game.
No, he didn't. No,
he did in the Cowboys game. No. You don't remember a few plays where he extended with his legs and hit like how soon we forget?
I remember some lucky a while ago. Hit with Kittles over the middle. That was the biggest play of the game. That drive, and then Trayvon dropping the interception in the end zone, and then the bad penalty on I think it was either Malik Hooker or Javon Curse with the holding. That we had y'all off the field, held y'all to a field goal that gave y'all first and goal. So yeah, I mean some things just kind of went y'all way, and that's what happened.
It was luck, a little bit of luck.
It wasn't luck, but I mean at the end of the day, but Purdy didn't win that game for y'all. He didn't win that game for y'all, and we have multiple sacks in that game. Purdy
what goes on his game? What goes on his record? Is it a W or an L in that game?
I mean, D, we know. Look, we know the Niners are going to win games and y'all are going to be in the playoffs, right? I'm just saying, now you got to take your expectation to another level. Now, you still can't be like, oh, we better than Dallas, or it's still a win here and a win there. You got to raise your level of expectation. This is a Super Bowl.
I have been saying February. The whole season, our focus is February. You're the one that now says, well, even if you're there in February, will you be a dynasty? We don't care about being a dynasty. We want to win this year, and that's our goal.
Yeah,
you're the one that tries to change it.
But the question is, right, just to make it interesting, can y'all
also now it's to make it interesting.
Can Purdy win with the ball in his hand? Can he win when he hasn't proven that yet. He hasn't proven that yet. Against Seattle, against Dallas, he didn't play in the Philly game. Okay, so and we'll know this year whether or not. You understand what I'm saying?
We will.
So we'll know this year if he's going to be that guy.
Way to try to loop Scrap in. Way to try to get some camaraderie against me. No. Don't try to. Listen, you see that, right?
Me and Scrap got our NFC East beef. So it don't matter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Dominate
I need y'all to win that game anyway. You know what I'm saying?
I know you do. and you hope that we are able. Oh, he has the Panthers winning this week. That's interesting.
Oh, that's man, well, that's the same guy who said that he was going to blow Dallas out by whatever. What did he say? 49 and something crazy, some crazy number.
47 to 12.
Yeah, it was some crazy number. Scrap said, right? And lucky Dallas imploded at the 6-yard line with 27 seconds left because y'all sure didn't do nothing with that porous defense. Because I'm telling you, the Eagles defense, y'all not winning, bro. Y'all are not winning. And I want the Niners to beat y'all, but I know it's not going to happen. I actually got the Niners winning that game. Because
against the Eagles.
Against the Eagles. I got the Niners winning that game. I don't want y'all to win, but if I got to be analytical about 17. I got the Niners.
Okay, so real quick, let's get a score because we got to roll through these other games.
Okay, all right. We can skip Dallas and Carolina if you want.
Real quick.
Miami Raiders, yeah.
Dallas and Carolina. You have them winning. Let's just go do a score real quick. Dallas, Carolina. What do you have?
I got Dallas winning that game. I got Dallas 33-13.
All right. So is that a blowout to you, or that's
a blowout? That's a blowout.
But you said it has to be 4 possessions, didn't you?
Well, I'm saying that with 20, 27, and then they would need 35. Okay, so they would need 3 possessions to beat us in that game. But it's the timing of this game, right?
Listen, I want to hear about timing. I don't want to hear timing.
That 13 points, that last touchdown they get might come with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The game is decided already. It's all about when the scoring
when
happens.
I said that earlier, why were you?
No, I said the same thing to you.
Sometimes it takes a few sips of coffee or whatever you're drinking for you to come around. I'm saying these things in the beginning of the show. Like, I don't get fighting so much and then it's free.
So Bruce and Scrap, the guys that are watching us live right now, okay? If a team wins 21-7, okay, is that a blowout? If a team wins 21-7, a team that is more superior than another team, if they beat an inferior team 21-7, is that a blowout?
21-7?
This is my DID drink. You know what I'm saying?
Dominant.
That's what we need to know. We got to ask the audience. Like, what's that like? Like, if the Eagles only beat Carolina 21-7, is that a blowout? Would you consider that a blowout? You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. Y'all got 6 points in the second half.
Y'all only had 17 yards in the whole second half, in the whole fourth quarter. I mean, y'all didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? So, and y'all scored nothing in the fourth quarter. So,
but sometimes once a team. This is the thing. Typically, and you don't really know about this too much. You haven't experienced that so much. You have with like the Giants. But once you get up on a team, there's really no need for you to play your starters in, towards the end of the third quarter, in the fourth quarter.
We blew them all out. Yeah, Rams. I mean, we know about resting out. So
any of those teams going to the playoffs?
What D? Who did y'all? Okay, y'all beat. So you do admit that was a good win against a good team. Your 42-10 victory against Dallas. You beat a good team in Dallas.
We thought it was going to be competitive.
We did. But did y'all beat a good team? When people say y'all haven't beaten anybody, is Dallas going to be the first team that comes out of your mouth and say we beat Dallas? Or would you not say, oh, I don't consider Dallas a good team?
Well, it wouldn't be the first. It wouldn't be the first good team we beat. I think the Steelers are a good team. I think, obviously, the Cowboys. We beat the Cowboys.
Right, see, that's all I was looking for. That's okay. I'm just looking for a little respect. That's all.
We beat the Jaguars, who won 5 games in a row. So
I do think the Jaguars are a good team. They're not on your league, but they're a good team.
And the Jaguars, who was one of AFC's hottest teams, we sat our players in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I did. Y'all blew them out, no question. No, that's good. No, I'm not refuting that. All I'm saying is that if you beat an inferior team only by 2 touchdowns, I don't think that's a blowout. If you only beat them by 2 touchdowns, especially. Well,
so now it's 2 touchdowns.
21-14. We said 14-point lead. That's
no. But you said a blowout needs to be 4 possessions, and now when I asked you what your score was, you didn't have it.
Okay, so let me 38-13 Dallas. Let's put it that way.
38-13.
Let's say 33-10 Dallas. 33-10 Dallas. That's what I'm gonna say. That's 4 possessions.
All right, yeah. Thanks for joining us, Scrap. We pray everything's all right with your mom.
All right,
thanks
Scrap, no
for joining us,
bro. We appreciate you. Lessons.
Okay, so I'll say this. Okay, cool. Let's go to Miami versus the Raiders. The Raiders are hot. They fired everyone. They cleaned house.
Yeah.
So now they won 2 in a row. Miami is super excited. They got Achane back. They waited till the second before 4:00 Eastern to say that he's cleared off of IR. So Corey was sweating it out because he has him on his fantasy team. Finally, Achane is back. I'm interested to see what that offensive line is going to do against the Raiders. The Raiders will put some pressure. They're going to put pressure on Tua. And so that might be the great equalizer, putting pressure on Tua. I know ideally, and everybody has said this, we've said this before, I've heard other people say it, Miami overall is a soft team. They are a diluted version. They try to mimic some of the things that the 49ers do, but they have a playbook that we no longer use. They tried to bring the playbook over, tried to be as creative schematically and play-wise. I mean, they have a team of track stars. Anytime you have a 4 players on your team that can go 22 miles an hour, you got something. Tua is extremely accurate, right? But he needs time. And so I think the benefit of the Raiders and what would make the game possibly more competitive than what people are giving them credit is that pressure. We're going to see if Tua can handle some pressure because his offensive line, as we always point out, teams' Achilles heels, his Achilles heel and Miami's Achilles heel is that offensive line. I don't think that offensive line is great. So if the Raiders can apply pressure, maybe the game will be more competitive. I don't see it being one of those Denver type games where they just completely blow the Raiders out. I think the Raiders are a proud team. I'm sure that they want to keep the momentum going.
Sure.
And once again, Miami's back. I think Waddle was on the injury report. I think he's doing better. Of course, Tyreek had a kind of a dud of a game last week, so I'm sure he wants to get to the point where he's putting up the peace sign again and going 25 miles an hour. So I'm sure these players want to shine, but I'm not sure exactly how much they'll shine. What do you say?
No, I think the Raiders don't stop the run. I mean, they give up 135 yards on the ground. So, I mean, that's a lot. Now, I mean, you can compartmentalize whatever you want if you're a Raiders fan and say, well, there's life after, McDaniels and there was life before McDaniels, right? So, you got the AP administration versus, the McDaniels administration. But at the end of the day, it's still the same guy, still the same team. They look inspired. They're playing inspired. But my thing is that we don't know what this Raider team is. We don't know what their identity is, even in their win last week, right? It wasn't like Adams got the ball and it wasn't like even in the victory before that, Adams didn't get the ball again. You played the Giants. I'm not going to give you anything really for beating the Giants. I'm not even getting Dallas anything for beating the Giants last week. But the Giants are just that bad of a team, right? And so, and then they're even in their victory last week. But my thing is this. Who did they beat? The Jets? So they beat 2 bad New Jersey teams. So My thing is, I say New Jersey because New York Giants and Jets are not New York teams. They play for Jersey. You got a whole different governor, so you're not New York at all. But anyway, you still got a lot to see who they are, right? And so Jacobs is running the ball well. They're actually getting back. You could see to things that they should have been doing all year long, but they don't stop the run. And at 135 yards, that's a lot of yards you're giving up on the ground. And Miami just got their better running back. They probably would have gotten over that anyway without Akon. But now that he's back with Mostert, they're going to run the ball. And they're going to be able to lighten up that pass rush because you're right. They do have a front that can come and they can get Crosby. Them boys will come. But, you neutralize the pass a little bit by the running game. And I think I still like Miami in this game. I think they'll beat the Raiders in this game. I still think they are the better team.
Yeah,
Miami.
Of course, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So the over under is 46.5.
Okay.
The spread is 13.5. Right.
Okay.
So that's even larger than our spread. Right.
Okay.
So what do you say score wise?
Score wise, I got Miami winning this game. I got Miami winning this game. I'm going 35. I'm going 35-20.
35-20.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I do like Miami to ultimately win. But I have the game much closer. I have the game closer than that.
You do?
I have the game 28-21. I think Devontae Adams has a big game, and I think they are able. I mean, because you can run on Miami.
What did you say the score was? What did you say?
28-21.
28-21. Okay, close game.
Yeah, so they won't cover the spread. I don't have them. I don't have them winning.
What's the spread?
13.5.
Oh wow.
Okay. Yeah, so 2 touchdowns. Those spreads, when it gets to the 2 touchdowns, those are considered blowouts. That's not just two touchdowns, no problem. That's a big deal. That's a big. I know you want to minimize. Do you ever heard of the
term that a score is not indicative of how
close a game is,
or how close a game is, rather?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you don't think there's merit to that statement? So like if say Miami wins 28-14, but they really didn't get separation until maybe midway in the fourth quarter, and maybe because of a punt return or a block punt or something happened that's unusual other than the orthodox way of scoring happens for them, then that game.
It happened in the game though, right?
Well, right, but what I'm saying is that, but ideally, right? You know this better than me, right? You could tell me, right? There's bets on even how a team would score, right? I mean, it's not likely that teams are going to score every game based on special teams, right? Or something like that. So right. or if they get a block point or safety, or if they get a block punt that puts them in a 1st and goal situation, right? Because you pin them down deep in their own territory, they get a punt off, and then all of a sudden it gets blocked, and now maybe the ball rolls out of bounds. They didn't recover for a touchdown, but now they got the ball 1st and goal, right? So what I'm saying is that if something unusual like that, if it takes something like that for them to win the game and then ultimately go up by that second touchdown that gives them that 14 that covers that spread, I think it's fair to say that, okay, then Miami really didn't dominate that game. You know what I'm saying? They won, they covered the spread.
However it comes, because you have 3 phases of the game, right? Offense, defense, special teams, right? So however it comes. Like, I don't want to see breaking it down and going 2nd and 3rd level to try to see it. And most of the points didn't come from the offense, so it's not dominant. Let's say most of your victories. No, listen what I'm saying. Most of your victories came from the defensive end. Did it change anything? No. There's no. That's not what I said. I said your offense is if we're picking Achilles heels, your offense needs to show. I said your defense has been elite. We can go back on shows. I have never ever said anything. Your defense had been elite.
No, I agree with
Prior
that.
to playing us, I said your defense has been the main part. I said your offense has been coming up lacking, and you guys haven't put up a lot of points. And you were like, and then I was like, certain games, and I think it was last week, I said, I want to see your offense score too. We know your defense can cause turnovers and pick sixes and all of that good stuff. But your offense has not shown that it is proficient enough to really hold its own. It has been solely leaning on the defense. And I think at least 3 of your wins was solely, maybe 4, was solely defensively. Your offense didn't do anything.
But again, and our defense was playing against very bad offenses too and bad quarterbacks. So, but the point I'm trying to make is that I'm not saying that, and I get what you're saying. No matter however you cover that spread, right? No one's going to say a guy can't get his money based on what he bet because, oh, well, no, the offense didn't score traditionally. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that from a fan standpoint and from football aficionados like you and I, when we watch that game, we would still say that score, if Miami wins 28-14, but a touchdown came out of something that's considered to be unorthodox or uncommon or not as or has low probability, then we would say then, yeah, Miami doesn't win that game if that, if they don't, if what you call it, if they didn't get the block punt or, whatever, some bonehead play or whatever happens, but it was unconventional. Yeah, they covered the spread, but they really didn't dominate like we thought they would, right? Because at the end of the day, people do believe Miami is the better team, hence the spread, right? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But I got them winning 30. What did I say? 35-20? I think it was.
Yeah, 35-20.
Okay.
And I have 28-21. And just for record, we have Scrap has the Panthers winning 23-21. Late field goal wins. Dak 3 picks. He has Dak with 3 picks. I'm telling you, Dak is going to have some issues. He's going to have issues with the zone. He's not as good as you think he is in the zone.
On his back for the Panthers, though, which is obviously their best corner. He's back, actually. And then the other guy, there's another pass rusher that they have that's pretty good, too, who's actually back as well. But no, that you'll see when we'll see on Sunday. All of that, whatever you thought was the case with Dak against his own, you're gonna see. Especially if you blitz Dak. Dak is one of the best against the blitz. So again, it's you'll see. You know what? That's a hater prediction. I would never predict that for the Eagles. Like, where's the realism in
this? Wait a minute. So
I would never
you saying that Tampa Bay, we would struggle against Tampa Bay. That is an okay thing to say. But him making an upset.
No, but I got Tampa Bay. But I didn't pick Tampa Bay to win, and I don't think Tampa Bay would make the game close. I was just saying that.
So you want our friendship to dictate or compromise our picks. If he really realistically thinks,
I promise you, Scrap knows deep in his heart. But listen, he is a true Eagles fan, and if you're a true Eagles fan, right? You're gonna pick stuff like that. But I would think Scrap would be, because Scrap knows football. Scrap knows. We can clearly see Scrap knows football. So this is what's disheartening to me, because a guy like Scrap who knows football, who has a survey of knowledge of this game, a preponderance amount of understanding of this game, to still pick a score like that against, to even pick what he picked against us in Philly, that's just all hate. No, but he lets his hate supersede his common sense on certain things with score. Like, there's no way you can think that, Scrap. You know what I mean? Like, that's 3 picks and we're gonna lose. No, that's not gonna happen, bro. That's not gonna happen.
Okay, let's move to the Monday night game. All right, real quick, let's talk about, before we get to that, let's quickly talk about and I want to just say this, and this, of course, on this show, we never make any jokes. It's a serious thing when players get injured. Yeah. But I do want to just bring this to people's attention if they haven't been paying attention.
Okay.
The 49ers have 3 losses. Each one of those quarterbacks has been lost for the season. Each quarterback. So we lost to Cleveland. Deshaun Watson, done for the season. We lost to Minnesota. Kirk Cousins, done for the season. We lost to Joe Burrow. Lost for the season. So that's just something. I'm not saying that there's any connection with that, but it is interesting that the only 3 teams that beat us lost their quarterbacks for the season after beating us. It wasn't immediately after, but there's a correlation between our L's and those teams' subsequent L's. I just wanted to put that out there.
Well, yeah, okay, go ahead. Thank God we didn't lose to the 49ers.
You better thank your lucky stars. Thank God. But I will say this. Let's talk about Pittsburgh and Cleveland. That should be a really good game. Now, Kenny Pickett, I mean, you might as well say he's a backup quarterback. Their offense is not able to do anything, right? They win on sheer grit and determination.
Yeah.
The offense is not now. Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren, the running backs. Najee is the bigger name. He got benched, and Jaylen Warren is named the starter. You have, of course, Deontay Johnson, who he'll catch 10 catches, but each one will be for half a yard. They can't push the ball down the field. No. And now you have Cleveland, who has a backup quarterback because they lost Deshaun Watson, and it's a guy with 3 names. So you just don't know what you're getting, right?
No.
PJ Walker, they told PJ Walker to have several seats. And they took this Dorian, whatever.
Thompson Robinson.
Yeah. So you got too many names to be successful. I don't know. He may be successful, but he got too many names. So although this is going to be interesting because I will say this real quick. I did have in the Monday night game,
right?
Thursday night, excuse me. I did have the Bengals winning. I had the Bengals beating the Ravens.
Right.
It turned out to be a bloodbath.
They would have done. They would have beaten them.
And I think they would have. They were winning at the time.
Yeah.
The Ravens weren't stopping them. They were able to put pressure on Lamar Jackson. But we'll never know. We can't talk in what ifs. It's only what happened. Right. And after Joe Burrow went down, of course, they lost Mark Andrews on a just an unfortunate play. I think his ankle broke. He got a lower leg injury. So that was difficult. But Odell Beckham looked good, but then Odell Beckham's shoulder, he hurt his shoulder in the game. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of, over the last 48 hours, the AFC North took some major hits to their franchise quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson, shoulder issue, done for the season. Now Joe Burrow. Mm-hmm. But then there was talk that Joe Burrow had this injury already, and they didn't disclose it because he came in with a sling. Right. And of course, their media department recorded it. People zoomed in to see that he had some type of, hand sling. They later deleted it. But now, where is the integrity of that team to disclose injuries, right? Because that affects a lot of stuff. That affects fantasy football. That affects sports gambling. That affects the expectations of the game. Are people going to tune in? Yeah. Ratings, right? Because if you already know that, what's the backup quarterback's name? I forget his name.
Oh, the guy who came in for him. Oh,
yeah. If you knew that he was going to be the starter, would you really tune in? Like, would it be not? You would probably watch it if there was nothing else better to do. But this was supposed to be a marquee game, and it was a must-win for the Bengals in order to, they were 5-4 at the time. This was a must-win for them.
Jake Browning. Go ahead.
Browning, right?
Yeah.
To keep their opportunity of even making the playoffs. So I think the Bills are happy about this, right? Ultimately, they have to be because they're 5-5. And but talking about Cleveland and Pittsburgh, I think this is going to be that AFC North is a black and blue division. Everyone beats up on each other. The games are usually low scoring. Yeah. But I would have to give the edge to Tomlin because he just knows, and that team, although they have some injuries, they know how to win. So I think it's going to be a really interesting stretch run to see who can make the playoffs. Now, the Ravens have a comfortable lead, so it looks like it's their division to lose. But I think there was a good opportunity that 3 teams were going to come out of the AFC North, as I predicted. But it's going to be interesting who it's going to be. Of course, Pittsburgh and Cleveland, to see which one of them, if possibly all three? Or does this give an opportunity for a team like the Bills to come out? What do you say?
I think it's all going to come down to defense. I mean, right? You got two of the best pass rushers in Watt and Garrett on both sides, on both teams, on their front defensive front. We don't know what to expect from the law firm, right? That they're going to have playing quarterback for them, right? Because even PJ Walker, who actually beat y'all, is not. He's gotten, he's gotten benched, right? So I mean, maybe they're saying something that we don't see in practice. He's obviously getting first team reps. We'll see what happens, but I don't know if it's going to make a difference. If this kid can show you something the way Levis did, or Livitz, whatever his name is, apologize for not
Will Levis.
Will Levis, right, from Tennessee. Maybe he'll show you something. I don't know. We'll see. He might scramble, might have a good arm. I know nothing about the kid. I'm sorry. I didn't do my homework on him. But my thing is this. It's going to come down to the defense. The Steelers are bad offensively, right? Only team in history to get outgained in the first 9 games of the season and actually win these games. It's amazing because their defense is getting to your point. We talked about Dallas, right? The pick sixes, the fumble returns. They're getting all the key stops, the sacks. I mean, it's just crazy what their defense is doing, right? But at some point, this is going to run out. I'm not going to say it's going to be this week. I kind of feel like something in me just feels like the Steelers are going to win this game for some crazy reason. And maybe because of my uncertainty around the law firm that's quarterbacking the Browns. But we got it, because you got to get the ball to guys, right? You got to get the ball to Cooper and to their tight end. I like him, the big dude there, Njoku, right? You know what I'm saying? Big body tight end, really good in the seams and up the middle of the field. But I just don't know if they'll be able to get the ball to him with that pressure coming. So, like I said, I'm going with the Steelers, bro. That's what I'm going. I'm going with the Steelers in this game. I am. As crazy as this sounds, I think I'm actually going with Kenny Pickett. As bad as he is, as trash as he is, you know what I'm saying? Warren is a good story. You're right. And he's still, and that's the crazy part, because he's still running the ball with a bad quarterback. You're not supposed to have a good running game with a bad quarterback. I mean, a bad quarterback. It's not like they have like just a modicum of success offensively. They're bad. Their leading receiver, Pickens, has 33 catches for the year. That's bad, bro. Only 33 catches up to this point. Like, bro, it's bad. And he's their leading receiver in reception.
Yeah, that speaks a lot about their coaching. But believe it or not, Cleveland is the favorite. They're 2.5-point favorites.
Yeah,
over under is a
putrid.
32.5. They don't expect them to score, but I mean, of course, it makes sense. They don't normally score. The AFC North, that game Thursday was a bit of a surprise. It probably would have been a higher scoring game, clearly, if Joe Burrow was there. But yeah, it's so what do you have the score being? Cleveland what? 5 and
one
and which
zip.
score? 3?
It'd be so bad, and the refs is like, yo, just give him a point. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever.
Right.
We don't even know how that'll come about. 2-0. That's it. A safety. No, I would say, I'm going to say, geez, I ain't going to lie, bro. I'm going to say 15. You know me, I always pick these odd numbers, right, D?
15?
Like 15. I'm going to pick an odd number, bro. 15-11.
Come on.
Look at me.
Come on.
Dude,
all right. It's ridiculous.
So bad. We don't know. Like, come on, dude. You have some fun with it. Come on.
Okay, so I do have Pittsburgh winning. Both of these teams are 6-3, believe it or not, though. I mean, we're laughing and joking, but they're 6-3.
Bill Parcells, your record is what you are, right? Something like that.
Yeah. So they're 6-3. They find a way to win. Both of them now. I think Cleveland has a great defense, obviously. But ultimately, I think Pittsburgh is going to win. And I think it will be a 17-10. I think it's going to be a 17-10 game.
17-10?
Yeah.
Okay. 17-10.
So it'll probably be an under, but it'll be like 17-10.
Okay.
I think they'll be able to put up, Pittsburgh will be able to run enough. Kenny Pickett will get one of those, because Pickens, their receiver, their leading receiver. Well, are you sure he's the leading receiver, or is it Deontay? Because, Deontay was on IR, so maybe that is the case. But, Deontay Johnson had a hamstring issue. But I know he is normally.
No, yeah, Pickens is their leading receiver. He's got 33 receptions for 566 yards. That's 3 touchdowns. And Cooper's only got 41 receptions, so he's really no better, and he's their leading receiver.
That's shameful. I will say this: Pickens, George Pickens made an issue about not getting the ball. Tomlin was like, "Yo, that's a pebble in my shoe," so he doesn't care. He cares about winning, right? He doesn't care about individual feelings or fantasy or whatever you want to call it. So I do think Pickens will get involved. They're going to try to take some shots downfield because running against the Browns might be a little more difficult. So Kenny Pickett is going to have to mix it up enough. You can't abandon the run game. Take your shots when you can. Ultimately, I think they win 17-10. Lastly, well, no, we have real quick. We already kind of discussed Joe Burrow's injury. Does that finish their season? Are they dead in the water pretty much?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
And then Mark Andrews, them losing Mark Andrews, they have Likely as the backup tight end for Baltimore Ravens. I think they have enough skill players. How many Zay Flowers had a 68-yard touchdown call back? He was getting off.
He was.
But penalties, he wound up having like pedestrian numbers, like 40 or 50 yards receiving, as opposed to having potentially well over 100, maybe 150 yards receiving. Things were called back. And so I think between Odell Beckham, seeing how his injury is, if that keeps him out, but you got Zay Flowers. Of course, you still have, Gus Edwards and, Keenan Mitchell. You got the run game. Of course, Lamar Jackson's legs. I think they'll be just fine. Plus, they have a comfortable lead in that division.
They do, but that's still gonna be a big loss though for the Ravens. I'm
of course.
To see how they move. Yeah, because
that was his safety blanket. I mean,
and he was balling.
Yeah,
he was balling.
Having him there, they have such a great rapport. They're gonna have to work around that and modify and try to
step up.
Step up, the next man up.
Right.
Let's talk about the Monday night game. Now, this is going to be a big game. This is Kansas City, Philadelphia Eagles versus Kansas City. This is in Arrowhead. Kansas City has not looked. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce in general have not looked like world beaters the way they have even last year, right? I think they, as we spoke earlier, they take what the defense gives them and they get W's. It's not about style points. It's about ultimately getting the W. And that's what they do. Like it or lump it, they know how to ultimately win the game. Well, this is a Super Bowl rematch, right? And so there was a lot of chirping after the Super Bowl. There was some excuses made by the Eagles players, or the field, the ground, and the refs, and why did you call that hold call and all this other stuff. Andy Reid off of a bye is dangerous.
Yes,
had they gotten him prior to a bye, that would be one thing. But I think Andy Reid having an opportunity, having some nuggies like he has in the commercial, getting some of those nuggies and really sitting down and coming up with a scheme. Because if you can do anything on the Eagles, you can pass on them. So all it takes is for the Kansas City Chief receivers and Travis Kelce to get open. Patrick Mahomes, we know, can get them the ball, and they'll be able to exploit those corners in that secondary. So it'll be interesting what they do. Now, I don't think they're going to be able to run on them too much, but I do think that they're going to be able to pass. So Sky Moore, maybe Kadarius Toney, Watson, all of them are going to have to show and improve, and really assist Patrick Mahomes in getting the W. What do you say?
It's going to be a blowout. Chiefs. And I'm not saying this because I hate the Eagles.
Oh, he's trying to
I'm not saying because Scrap got us losing and Dak's throwing 44 interceptions tomorrow and we're going to lose 120 to 119 in overtime. No. What I'm saying is this, really, honestly, that secondary is trash. And remember, Nakobe Dean is out. He's on IR. You got no Dallas Goedert. Okay. they're trash, and that they can't cover a bed with a blanket. They are trash. I don't care what, and they in the same offense with those same no names, Kelce and the no names. Okay, Kelce and the Pips are gonna come, and they're going to beat them, and they're home as well as that. They are going to blow this team off the map. The Eagles are going to get smashed tomorrow. They are, and the Chiefs are only giving up
Monday.
I'm sorry. They're only giving up. They're top 5 in defense and scoring. So they only give up like 15.9 points a game. Their defense is, and if anything, I think that's always been the weakest part of this team. But their defense is actually playing good this year. So the thing is that I don't see them, the Eagles, really winning this game. And I think you're going to see a blowout. And like we said, you just said it, Don. They don't look good. They have, they've got 2 losses, right? Detroit opening week. And then, of course, against the Broncos. Bad loss. It happens. It's a divisional team. It's cool. It's not going to make a break. But, we understand Mahomes is just that dude, right? It's Mahomes, and then it's the rest of the NFL. I'm talking about the whole NFL. Players, receivers, defense, defensive ends, running backs, other quarterbacks. It doesn't matter. There's Mahomes, and then it's the rest of the league. And we can't refute that because he's got receipts. He's been to 3 Super Bowls, won 2 of them. Been to a championship game every point since he's been starting in the league. So the reality is that this is a team, because Mahomes is who he is. If he plays like Mahomes, which we expect him to do, this team, if Howell and Dak can throw all over the yard against that defense and that secondary, what do you think Mahomes is going to do?
They have the difference is they have dominant receivers. So I will say this,
but those same receiving core beat them in a Super Bowl, so it don't even matter.
Well, they had
a better secondary last year, the Eagles did, than they got this year.
Now that's true. That's true. But the fact is Washington and the Cowboys have better overall,
but
player for player, better receiving core.
Right, but not a better quarterback. That's the point, right? Like if the thing is, we already seen Mahomes beat this team in the most prominent game of all games, right? We've seen him do that. With these no-name receivers, there was no Hill, there wasn't no other guy. It was just Kelce and the Pips, right? And they beat them. And what I'm saying is, I understand what you're saying, that Dak and Howell has better receivers, but the quarterback is not better than Mahomes.
No.
So if you have to think about it, right? Do you take Mahomes with mediocre receivers and a great tight end, or do you take some maybe average, really good quarterbacks, right? Good quarterbacks.
You were close, average. You should. It was on 40 and flip, 40 and slip.
I mean, they're average, but Dak is not an average.
He's above average.
He's above average quarterback. No, he's definitely above average. He's above average. He's not great, but he's above average. Definitely. You know what I mean? But those guys are not better than Mahomes. And I would still take Mahomes with you and I. D, you and I can line up out there. We could beat Slay and Bradbury. Those dudes is trash. Me and you can line up easily, D. And with Mahomes as our quarterback, I guarantee we'll get 2 catches against them for more than 5 yards. We can do it.
That's it.
I promise you. That secondary.
And then we hit the showers. That's it. Then we got to ice up the knees. That's it. Game's over.
Yeah, that's it. The game is over after that. You know what I'm saying? That's it. But yeah. No, I got them in a blowout.
Now, what's interesting?
41-17.
41-17.
41-17. Chiefs is going to blow them out.
Ooh, okay.
The blowout.
The line is only 2.5. 2.5.
I don't care what that
over
line
45 and a half.
Made that line. They still don't think that the Eagles ain't got a secondary. That secondary is bad, bro. That's a bad secondary. So I don't know why Scrap won't.
So let me go on the other side of that argument, just so we're fair. Okay. The Achilles heel is to Kansas City is, number one, the trustworthiness of these receivers. We know Travis Kelce is automatic. The other receivers, they have drops. They're really, you can't really depend on them. So that might be the issue. Now, when you look at the Eagles, they have some receivers that you can depend on, right? Now, you got Snead that might shadow A.J. Brown. You got Devontae that's going to be, he's going to get the second corner where he probably should be able to light them up. Jalen Hurts, you still have his legs, and you have a running game. If they're able, the way I would think, if they are to beat them, and I do have Kansas City winning the game. If they were to beat them, it would be by playing keep away, running the ball, methodic drives, push their way all the way down, because that play is still, I don't care if Mahomes, I don't care if
the push is automatic.
Polamalu is on the side, the head and shoulders, all of that stuff could be on the sideline. You can't stop that play. At this point, no team has figured out how to stop that play.
I concur.
So if they decide that they want to run the ball no matter what, and that's their way that they're going to attack, because there are a few ways you can attack, right? You can attack in the air, you can attack on the ground, and you can attack with time possession, right? And so their course may be, let's attack with time of possession. And we know Mahomes can work magic with 50 seconds. He can go all the way down the field with 50 seconds. But That was also when he had Tyreek, right? So you could do that when you had Tyreek, who could go 22 miles an hour, put his fingers up. You don't have that because you don't have those receivers that you can trust, really, really trust in a pinch.
Why can't he? He won a Super Bowl with those guys, though, D. That's what I'm saying. Like, what more receipts would you need? They won a Super Bowl with guys with MVS and
Schuster, right? They had him.
Juju Schuster, for crying out loud. I mean, this is a team that.
But he fared better. He fared better than the Watson and some of those other. Sky Moore has not proven that he is that receiver that they thought was going to take that next step.
Right, but here's the thing. If you notice this year, all these receivers got to do is just do what Mahomes tells them to do. He already knows where the deficiencies are in the defense. All he's got to do, look, for this third down, I just need you to be here. All they had to get used to, these receivers, is how Mahomes improvises. Once you learn, that's why him and Tyreek Hill had such chemistry, and Kelsey, because they know that Mahomes, they understand how he improvises. Once he breaks containment, it's about getting open, that's when right. And so when he knows where he's just going to guide these guys, tell these guys where to be when it comes to Mahomes breaking pocket, breaking containment, and where to find these guys. Just run and get open. I will get you the ball. That's all. And once pocket breaks down, right, that's when it's really harder for a defensive back, because now he's no longer trying to cover a route. He's got to now chase a guy. You know what I'm trying to say? And that's when it gets bad for Bradbury and Clay and these other guys in the washed up.
And he can throw people open. And he throws people open. And so that is always the advantage. And he can put the ball
need receivers for that.
Anywhere you need it. Like, as opposed to once the play breaks down, he could throw them open. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah. And Sky Moore is actually averaging 13 yards a catch. So what does that tell you, right? Most likely he's getting hit on third down. I'm just saying, I'm presuming. I don't have the stats in front of me in terms of what the percentages are for him on third down. But when you look at these guys, right? Noah Gray, 12 yards a catch. He's got 18 receptions. All these guys, there's no one over 20 receptions except Travis and Rashee Rice. That's it. Everyone else is 14. No, I've tracked. My bad. No. Well, Pacheco, he's got 24 catches, and then Tony has 20 catches. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. But
Rice has been showing promise.
Yeah, Rice
has been showing promise. Yeah. Kadarius Toney, if he could ever get it together,
such promise and potential.
Yeah, injuries. He just can't get it together.
Yeah.
So what do you have the score? You said
41-17. I mean, I hear what you're saying about that, them running the ball and all that. I mean, that's really about all they would have, to me personally. I think they're obviously going to double A.J. Brown. I think they're going to get off. I think you're going to see them get off, but I just think it's going to be too much high-powered for them, for the Eagles to overcome once that offense gets going for Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? And they get some pressure on Jalen Hurts, who can't really break containment and stuff because that knee is not good. I don't care.
He's not 100%.
It's not 100%. So, yeah.
He's not 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, I do have Kansas City winning, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. And I don't really want it to be. I want a competitive game. I mean, I do have.
I just want the Eagles to lose, but I mean,
right.
I don't. But I mean.
But you want, is this a retaliatory score of 41?
It's not.
Okay, I just want to
make all the things I just told you. All the
Okay.
things I just told you. That's why. You didn't hear me not once say just because I hate the Eagles. No.
I thought you did start off with saying I hate the
I
Eagles.
said this is not why. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's not a retaliatory thing. It's not because I hate the Eagles, but I just really believe based on what we're seeing here and the key injuries that they have on defense, this team won't, and offense with Goddard out as well, that I don't think that they'll win.
Okay, I have Kansas City winning, but I think it's going to be 35-28. 35. I think it's going to be closer. I think ultimately Kansas City will figure it out. And of course, I'm always certain that Andy Reid would like to, put the knife in and twist it a little bit against the Eagles, his former team. So there's always. Of course, you have the dynamics of the brothers, the Kelsey brothers. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they would like to, and of course, all of the chirping back and forth and the excuse making.
Sure.
I'm sure they want to put it to rest. And so, to your point, maybe it will be a bit of a blowout because maybe they want to show it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't the field. It wasn't the grass. It was that we were just a dominant team. And that's why we beat you. That's why we ultimately won. You did your best, but your best wasn't enough. And so maybe that's why Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, and Kansas City Chiefs want to really blow the doors off of them.
I agree. And he got his revenge in the Super Bowl, but it's even sweeter now again. The new year and beat him in the mid-season like you're doing now. I totally agree, G. Yeah, I got
because they won't see them in the Super Bowl. So it's best to get your revenge now. I mean, it's best to do it now and just show them it wasn't a fluke because you're not going to see them in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with you there. You won't see them in the Super Bowl. I agree.
Cool.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right. You won't see them in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But in any case, man, shout outs to Kingdom Creative for the production. Awesome job.
Always.
Shout outs to Infinite Audio for the music. Music is
right.
You hear that? Music is slamming, man. Tell you. Once again, thank you everyone for joining us.
Right.
Please like, share, subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube page. We appreciate all of the comments. We appreciate everyone that joined us.
Thank y'all, fellas. Appreciate
thanks.
it.
Yeah. Canandre, we thank Scrap for joining and making their comments. It's going to be interesting, Scrap. We got to have you on the show.
Oh, Scrap, we're going to get you. Yeah, because you need to explain this blowout that's coming. So we got
it's going to be problems. If you guys get blown out, it's going to be a problem.
Yo, you are coming on this show. All right. I know you ain't playing either one of our teams, but you're going to come and you're going to explain this to us. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, listen, last but not least, we need to talk really quick about the culture, right? We usually have a culture segment, but because of all of the sports kind of intersecting all at once, we had the NBA, we had an exciting off season for the NBA, NFL, et cetera, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk really quickly about Diddy. There were some serious allegations, and we say alleged. These allegations from Cassie, I guess it was his longtime girlfriend. I think they had been involved for over 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they first started dating when she was 19, allegedly, and he was 37.
Yeah, he was 37.
He was 37
at that time.
Yeah, at that time. I mean, he's not 37
he's
anymore.
Like 54, whatever it is now, right?
So they ultimately, this was big bombshell news. They filed a lawsuit against him with a whole host of stuff, from alleged rape to physical abuse, human trafficking, just the whole, not every deplorable thing you could think of, every base, low down thing you could think of. And so in those situations, because people have loyalty, or they're not able to separate the person from the act, right? The personality from the act, right? They may like his music. They might like, who he comes off to be in the public. People were very divided by this. Oh, it's just a money grab. That's what this is. It's just a money grab.
Right.
And there is, well, he would never do that. And then there were people that were like, yeah, he did it. 50 was very vocal. He did that. Whatever they said he did, he did.
Right.
And so other people, when you hear different interviews, there are always talks. People always kind of hint to the type of person he is behind the scenes, but no one ever really divulges. So this was an opportunity for the curtain to be pulled back, right? And so we're clear to say that all of this is alleged, but nobody's perfect. We don't say anyone's perfect.
No.
But the fact is, this was the fastest settlement in a lawsuit that I can remember. Most people, if there's smoke, there's fire, right? So most people be like, all right, prove it. I'll have my day in court. Okay, you're alleging all of this stuff. Okay, cool. Lawyer up. Make sure you lawyer up, and I will see you in court.
Right.
That settlement happened immediately. She was suing for $30 million. Not $300, $30 million. Yep. Now, whether she got $30 million or not, I know it was settled quickly. So, my question to everyone is, what will happen to this? Will it be swept under? Because our community in general, sometimes we are endeared by personalities and what people say and what they do and how they made us feel during a certain time. Puffy was involved in some of the soundtracks to our adolescence and growing up, and the way he would sample hip hop, sample old school songs. He was able to connect with us. We know music is a very, very powerful influence, right? We can go deep about how music is used, right? Because we know that is a tool, sometimes obviously for good, but a lot of times for bad, because it kind of can get into you in a sense where you find yourself humming or singing a song and you don't know really, you're just listening to the beat. Oh, the beat, this is catchy, or it's you're kind of enamored by that, but not understanding what the words are, or not paying attention to the words. Right. And maybe that doesn't agree with you morally or spiritually or anything. Right. But because the beat is catchy, because the hook is fire, you just kind of get lulled to sleep with that music. Right. So I think we have to call it like we see it. We've seen it in like it was a divided issue with R. Kelly. People loved his music, but the talent, gifts come without repentance, right? So we know that people can be gifted, people can have these abilities, but as a community, I think we need to call it like we see it. And I'm interested to find out, and I want to ask you what your opinion is. Will this be swept under the carpet? Will people just let it die down now that the court part of it, the lawsuit part, has been settled and settled expeditiously? What do you say?
Well, I say this. So when you look at this particular case, right? So she, being Cassie, when she filed this with the Federal District Court of Manhattan, I'm just reading this from the research here. She filed it under the Adult Survivors Act. It's a New York law which allows people who say they were victims of sexual abuse to file civil suits after the statute of limitations has expired. So in essence, Diddy wasn't going to go to jail, right? Puffy wasn't. I got to call him Puffy, people, because I've known Puffy, and not personally, although I was actually in his office when he was an intern with Uptown Records and with a few of my friends who were in the music business at that time. And We were listening to some music, Fat Doug, Vanessa Quincy, some rap artists that were signed to Uptown Records, and he was playing some music. He's like, yo, what you think? I was like, yo, that's decent. He's like, oh, decent. I like that word. And so we would go to industry parties and stuff like that. So for us as New Yorkers, you know, we knew Diddy when he was doing his college party, city college, and all the local CUNY college parties and all that stuff before he really started to hit. And then, of course, obviously, signed Andre Harrell, was an intern, and then, you know, just being in those circles with them. So he was always Puffy to us, right? So Puffy wasn't going to go to jail. There was no jail ever in his future as a result of this case, regardless of its outcome. So it was a civil case whereby, in all honesty, he was not going to win, right? Even if he could try to fight to prove his innocence, if a modicum of the allegations were proven to be true, he was going to have to give up bread. And to put that in the hands of a jury to decide how much bread that was going to be, whatever he needed to do, he did it. That's why this thing got settled so quickly, within 24 hours after the lawsuit, right? Thursday, she files a suit. Friday morning, you wake up and it's like, okay, they settled, all right? So in the midnight hour, all right, they went and they made an agreement, whatever it was, and let's just be honest, right? 30 million, 60 million, it's a drop in the bucket to a guy who's basically a billionaire, right? So it's not, that's not a lot of money for Puffy at the end of the day. But the problem when you look at this, and this is always tricky, you ask the question, what's going to come as a result of this, Don? And it's unfortunate because what we've seen, like since the Me Too movement and so forth, we've seen a lot of names and people from your Epsteins to the other guy who was a movie producer and so forth, who went to jail and you know what I'm talking about. I can't remember his name right now at the moment. Was it Weinstein?
Yeah,
I believe it was.
Weinstein,
Weinstein, right. So a lot of these guys, and of course R. Kelly, as you mentioned, the aforementioned R. Kelly, and so many other people, right? We see these things, and it's like, okay, it's. I think people are becoming more immune to it, and it's sad because, you know, when these allegations come out, the first thing people say, well, why didn't they say something before? Oh, she was with him all that time. Why didn't she just leave? Why didn't she just walk away? She's been since married. She's got 2 kids now. The whole thing, this is obviously post her and Diddy's relationship. But, you know, again, when people are, and you got to remember, she was a young girl, like 2007 when they met and they started dating. She's a young girl. She's impressionable. She's trying to get into the industry like all these girls were with R. Kelly and so forth, right? Probably not a lot of oversight. Parents not really caring. You got people in their family who are also looking to make money from their children and live vicariously through them and want them to go ahead and sign the deal. They can be famous so that they can get out the hood and they can also benefit from their child's success, right? And so they don't think about all these things. And so she's traumatized. If these allegations are true, she's traumatized. She's overwhelmed. She's emotionally broken. She's mentally unbalanced at this point because, again, all of what's going on around her confidence and self-esteem and so many other aspects where you would hear a lot of victims talk about this, right? And we see that, I mean, look at Russell Simmons, right? Where is he, on Mars, Pluto? It's not even a planet right now, right? He's on Saturn somewhere. We don't even know, right? You know, chiming in with his folded, you know, his legs like
Indian style, yeah,
Indian style, right? You know, like he's praying to Buddha and just, you know, and he wants to give us some words and wisdom, like, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on with, you know, with the meditative speeches, like, yo, bro, where you at? You know what I'm saying? Right. You gonna confront this or no, right? And
he's doing all this on the run.
On the run, right? While he's on the run, right? You know,
right? He's doing all this from Budapest because he doesn't, right, where they can't extradite him.
Can't extradite him. He's safe. Ain't nothing he can do.
Right. I'm in Mongolia. I cannot be pulled back into the U.S.
Cannot be pulled back. Nothing you say. I'm good where I am, right? And he's living off twigs and, you know, living in a hut, right? You know what I'm saying? Don't even care anymore, right? So that beats jail, so it doesn't matter. I mean, that's better than jail, right? So my whole thing is this, Don. It's a shame. We see it in the culture. A lot of stuff has been said about Diddy. A lot of allegations, like you said, from 50, so many other rappers and entertainers that have called Diddy out on behavior that is unsavory. And do I believe it goes on in that industry? Absolutely. I think no one would be foolish enough to believe that does not happen in this industry. And then, you know, with Diddy and stuff like that, a lot of stuff. So there's a little bit of a history there. None of it has been proven, right? To his defense, it's nothing been proven, but that's what's been said. And I think it's destructive to the culture. There's a lot of things that are destroying our culture that I believe that we will look past, right? Just think about it, right? We could be very biased when it comes to certain things, right? We knew Michael was sleeping with them kids, right? We knew that, but we didn't care. Michael got off. and we were like, yo, we good. We knew Mike still, it was still weird and eccentric for Mike to even still have sleepovers, right? That in itself was just crazy. But we didn't care. It was Michael Jackson, right? We loved it. It's like R. Kelly. We just recently came to grips that, okay, Kelly is wrong, right? You know what I mean? For some people, I'm not saying everybody, but for a majority of the fans and the culture, you know, people roll with Kelly all the way because, again, like you said, Donald, to your point, which is a good point, the music is mesmerizing, the artistry, you know, the thing that we believe has shaped the way we think, and music we grew up on that had a lot to do with the formation of how we look at the world today, how we have come into our views and perspective of life. Music had a lot to do with that, you know, relationally, business-wise, career-wise, whatever you want to say. Music had a lot to do with that, particularly the artists that were very successful and flooded our ear gates and our hearts with a lot of their artistry. So, yeah, I agree. I think this is something that's going to, but Diddy's going to, you know, people are going to go past it because what's going to happen, Diddy's going to get another something else because he knows how to reinvent himself and do things, and he'll come back out with something that's going to kind of, you know, shift the attention, and he'll be Diddy again to a lot of people.
Well, the question is will that empower other people to come forth? Because
they will.
A settlement like this in 24 hours for 30 million, whether it was less with the quickness, will prompt other people that maybe were suppressed. Maybe it happened to them. Maybe it didn't. Maybe they know of stories. So what stops the circus from just going full throttle and now everybody? Because look at Me Too. Look how it happened. It was just first a pebble in the water, and it was a slight ripple, and then that turned into a tsunami. Right.
Correct.
So very simply, that could happen to Puffy. And then the other thing is unfortunately in our community, we look for false equivalencies. We want, well, what about, look, like with R. Kelly? Well, what about Elvis? What about this person? What about that person is, you know, a pedophile? What about this person? What about Jerry Lee Lewis? What, like, you want it's not necessarily an even playing field, right? And we know that I sent a text to you where this is kind of going back to sports, but we were talking about Lamar Jackson, how many games he missed in his career. I think it was 10. And how they described his injury. He's injury prone, or he's not this. And, they just go down a laundry list of negative things about his play and how he's not there. He's not a franchise player because, you know, the greatest ability is availability. So he's not there. Joe Burrow has been out way more than Lamar Jackson. Way more. But it's, man, tough break for the kid. And, just an unfortunate incident. And, you know, how it's narrated is very different. So we have to call it like we see it in our community and others. But if we turn a blind eye to our community and people don't want to snitch, and they feel like the act is snitching is worse than the actual act that is tearing down our community, well, then that's the problem. We're actually just as guilty. The person in the getaway car is going to get the same time as the person who robs the bank.
I agree.
If you think that they're going to, you were just a driver, I was forced to. They told me to stand here and keep the car running. No, you're going to go to jail just the same way.
Just the same, bro.
I think that our community needs to embrace people coming up and feeling, the courage to actually speak their truth. Don't embellish. Say what happened and let the chips fall where they may. If it happened, then that person needs to be held accountable. If it didn't happen, and so in a social media age, everything can be verified. Things, and when you hear the stories, people have, it's just like this. Just very similar to R. Kelly, and we can wrap it up. Very similar to R. Kelly. There were so many things that people said after the fact, but we were so mesmerized and so infatuated with the product that he was putting out, we didn't focus on what was actually taking place. But then when you see interviews, when you see how he was interacting with females and other people, it's like, whoa, now you see it.
Right.
But it's what that music does. Music
Yeah, what it does.
can put you in a purple haze.
Yeah, well,
and you're in a trance
Yep.
and you're not seeing what your eyes are telling you.
Exactly.
You are envisioning what the music, how the music makes you feel as opposed to what you're actually seeing. And so, I think that's it in a nutshell. I wouldn't be surprised if there's more people that come out. I would not be surprised that there'll be more cases. And just like anything else, when these things start, I mean, people are joking on X or Twitter that I think I forget what the name of that documentary about R. Kelly that pretty much was the bombshell that really once all that collection of people got together, it was a wrap. The evidence was insurmountable for him.
Right.
I think at some point he's going to have to step up to the plate and respond to it. Settling is in a social media age and where people want to know. This is an information age, and people are going to demand more than just hush money and it goes away. There will always be someone that says, well, okay, you paid $30 million, but why would you pay $30 million if it really wasn't,
I agree. No,
there might be cases that have happened that aren't beyond the statute of limitation. And if those people come out, then
but I think D, to your question, and thank you for elaborating even more on that, because you're right. I think you're going to see more people come out because you think about it with Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, even right.
A
lot.
Someone, I just saw something. Someone from 1970 said she got Spanish fly from him or what, and this is 1970, right?
Wow.
And we're in 2023.
She's 100.
And meanwhile, the glaucoma in his eyes, he doesn't know who it was. So, I mean, it's over, and they're still trying. And they're still pumping that.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's not over. I don't think Diddy is. I dodged a bullet. I think personally, this might be the catalyst to kick the door open. And all the people that perhaps allegedly have issues or had incidents with him are going to feel empowered to come to the forefront. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. No, that was pretty much it. There's going to be more people coming. And that's what's going to be the effect for Diddy now, right? With more allegations coming out, which most likely will be, then, and I'm not trying to presume that on him or speak that over, but I'm just trying to say, right, if what we've been hearing about him down through the years is true, then based on what Cassie has purported, and those are some very strong allegations, like you say, almost every egregious thing you can think of, that's what he did to her. And so if that's the case, then more people are going to come out. That's how Harvey Weinstein went down, right? If the first allegation doesn't mean much, right? All right, comes and goes, somebody gets paid off, sign a couple NDAs, then that's it, right? But then more and more come. So Bill Cosby, Weinstein, the Epstein, even, right? We saw that. That stuff with him has been going on for a while. But again, the more evidence, more people kept
Trump for that matter.
Trump for that matter too, right?
Yeah,
so
what he was doing with campaign funds. Like, so your money, you can have train smoke money. Your money could be long, but at some point, that money is going to run. There's only but so many hush money checks you can sign, and how there's only but so many NDAs you can make people sign.
That's what the girl said from Danity Kane. She's been vocal about it for months now.
Oh, she has,
yeah. If you probably know, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the NDAs, and when Diddy was giving everybody back their publishing and all this stuff, but they had to sign an NDA. So that's kind of weird. Like, who does that? Why I got to sign an NDA to get my publishing? You know what I mean? So it's a lot.
But once again, there is the difference between his public persona and who he is behind the scenes, right?
Absolutely.
So it seemed like, oh, that's nice. He came and he's giving all of his bad boy artists all their publishing. Now, mind you, he has milked that cow for 25 years, so there's really nothing to do with it.
Songs ain't worth.
Yeah, nobody's playing that anymore. But hey, it seemed like a good gesture, but then you have an NDA signed. So
correct.
But in any case, man, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll have, I'm sure, some more culture stuff to talk about.
Oh yeah, we got a lot more stuff.
We got to talk about. Listen, we got to talk about your man that's on a 6-game skid.
Who's that?
You believe now? Do you believe now? I want to know if you believe now. That man has not won a game. Deion Sanders. You
yeah.
forgot about him.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah. That's
They said right. That is my exact point. That is my Deion Sanders was everywhere. And then what happened? As soon as he started losing, it like it's they're quitting and I'm here. And so now it's not so much about the team. It's thinking, okay, pattern will let you know, or we think that Deion might jump ship. He may go to Texas A&M. He may go to another school because it started off well. And of course, he can always hang his hat on the fact that they have a better record than they did last year, right?
Sure.
But that ain't enough. Not when you came with all the talking. That's not enough.
Well, I think you hit it on the head. He's going to lead to a better D1 school. Because again, it's all spot steps for Deion, right? I mean,
but where does it end? Is he going to end up in the NFL, or
no? He won't coach the NFL. No, but he's going to definitely coach a better D1 team, and a D1 team will take him because again, now
of course,
because Diddy will walk into a situation with already really good players, right? Because from what I'm understanding now, there's teams that are pulling back.
Deion, you said Diddy. I mean, Diddy.
Diddy.
We don't want Diddy walking.
We don't want Diddy walking the sidelines, right? Exactly,
right.
Take that. Yeah, Diddy. Yeah, you don't.
You know what someone said? What that I thought was hilarious. He said the sidelines once Deion started losing and this 6-game skid, the sidelines stopped looking like the Source Awards or the BET Awards or whatever.
Right.
And see, it is because people, that is their nature. When you're winning, when there is a spotlight on you, and you know this from being a Cowboys fan, it comes both ways. The fanfare when you're winning and when you're losing, people are still looking, but their focus on why they're looking has changed. Now the I got yous and told you so's, they're the ones that remain, and they're relentless. They're relentless.
But I'm gonna tell you the truth, and this might sound a little crazy, but I still think Deion is winning, even though I know he doesn't get the attention, or he's getting bad attention now, right? And the Colorado's not much CTV anymore, right? But I still think he's winning because it's still going according to plan. He came into this team, right? And like you just said, won more games than that team won last year, right? Brought them money. They get ready to build a brand new, what do you call it, screen or whatever for their stadium, and all the stuff that they're doing.
Jumbotron?
Right? Huh? Yeah, right.
Jumbotron?
A Jumbotron, correct. So all the stuff that they're doing, right, and the money, the shades, whatever it was, right? They made their money. And they brought notoriety to them. Now, a lot of players are pulling out of their commitment for next year. But here's the thing. Now, if they move to, from what I understand, and I'm not a big college football follower like that or fan, but from what I understand, they go to the Big 12 where there's no defense, right? He might fare better maybe next year when he plays. I think he'll stay another year. But I do think ultimately he still wins because of still the notoriety, the publicity, the visibility, the money he's brought to that program, to college football again, and we'll see what happens. I think he's trying to keep his sons there another year, whatever the case may be. He keeps them there. We'll see what happens next year, but at some point, he is going to go to he's going to go to D1 school because he's not going to stay there after Shakur and them leave. So
my question is, what happened with that whole press? And I guess it's just Deion being Deion. I'm here. My mom is here. My dog's here. My daughter's here. I mean, he said everybody's here.
Yeah.
My personal chef's here.
Right.
Like he was vocally committing that he's here to stay, and he's here to get that Colorado Buffaloes. We heard that before. So I'm a little skeptical, and I think at that point he is going to stay as loyal to them until his sons make that transition. And once they do, I think he's going to go to greener pastures. Now, my understanding is that the college playoff is supposed to expand, I think, to 12 teams. So then that might give him more of an opportunity. But I don't even think they're bowl eligible. I think you got to win 6 games to be bowl eligible.
I don't even think
they only won 4 games, I believe.
4 games. Yeah, 4, but they 4 and 6, I think. Yeah. So
if they don't even make it to a bowl, I mean, I guess, yes, he's brought he has made
and that's all it
Colorado
is about
a ton of money.
Deion. That's all it is. I mean, what more do you want from Deion, right? Because Colorado still was a bad team, right? It's not like
it was a bad team.
It was a bad team. I mean, I can't put it all on Deion. I mean, it was a
but
bad
I don't
team.
like the problem I have is how he came there. You can like
what do you mean?
made the just from day one. I'm bringing dogs, hit the portal, just that kind of upheaval.
But he did, but that did it didn't. It's not sustainable, but it did work initially, and that's really all. I mean, you would hope maybe they would have started off bad, and all of a sudden they start to ascend. That would.
If you drink a cup of espresso, does that perk you up?
It sure does.
You get sleepy again at some point, right?
Yeah.
It don't keep you up all night, right?
No.
Okay, so some of that stuff is good to start off with, but eventually you got to have some substance.
Colorado didn't even have espresso. They just had water. They had nothing. They just had some dry room temperature water, which I like room temperature water, by the way. But that's all they had. But what I'm saying is Deion comes and he brings them a cup of espresso. That's better than anything they've ever had. So for a program like that, they win. Deion knows that. And why do you think Deion chooses a school like that, right? I mean, at the end of the day, he could have turned down whatever their offer was. But you come. That's the thing you do. That's the smart thing. If you're doing your Deionomics, you go to a place where it's bad, and the expectations are you can only go up if anything, right?
Right.
So
an incremental,
and you look like
you've done,
yeah,
you look like a hero
incrementally, and you look like the hero. You look like you changed the whole world around. You brought peace to the whole earth. Based on
to the region, you brought peace to the region,
right?
And
exactly. So yeah, but anyway.
And okay, on our next show, we're not going to get into it, but I just want to say it so that people know to look. We're going to talk about Snoop. We're going to talk about Snoop, and has he started a revolution of people kicking the cannabis or weed smoke? Is it medical? Is it something that is he forced medically to stop? Because we have a whole bunch of people copycatting, and it's a good thing that they stop smoking. But how long is that going to last? And is it a genuine thing? These other people, Meek Mills and Coily Ray, and all these other people that are standing with Snoop, they're going to stop smoking weed. We'll talk about that on the next show. But once again, like, share, subscribe to our Facebook, YouTube page. Thank you for indulging in our culture segment. Once again, Rod, thank you for joining.
No doubt.
Our next show is going to be interesting. We're going to find out. We're going to find out about, we'll have a show before Philly and Kansas City, but we're going to find out this weekend if what Miami's made of.
Oh, yeah. We got some good games.
The Niners struggle with Tampa Bay.
Y'all are 1 o'clock too, right? Y'all are 1 o'clock. Niners in Tampa Bay is 1 o'clock, right? I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Are you in church when these games on at 1 o'clock? What's?
Yeah. Actually, when we have when the games are 4 o'clock, no. But when we have the 1 o'clock games, when they're on when they're on the East Coast, and they're 10 o'clock, I have to catch them on the replay, or by the time the game kind of it might be halftime.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
Because we have our early service. But yeah, man. Gotcha. So we'll see what's up, man. But thanks for joining us. Until next time, everybody. Peace.